Alright, Algebra 2, I have some good news. This one's really, really easy and short. All we have to do is identify which ones are in standard form, and which ones are in vertex form, and which ones are in factored form. And since there's only 3 possible forms of quadratics, as long as you remember 2, you know that if it's not in either one of those forms, it must be in the third form. So let's do the easy ones. Standard form? Well, standard form is just the way that you usually see them. So that's going to be that f of x equals something x squared plus something x plus something. That's usually how you'll see them. And you can kind of remember because it's ABC, that's pretty standard. And then we've got the x squared, the x, and then nothing. That just seems kind of normal and standard. So that's our standard form. Alright? Now, the other one that's really easy to remember is the factored form. Well, we know what factors are. Factors are when we're factoring, we do things like that. So factored form is simply the f of x equals x plus something or minus something and x plus or minus something else. So we sometimes call these R1 and R2 because one of the names for zeros is roots. So those are the easy ones to remember. This is the factored form now. So then the other one must be vertex form. That's definitely worth remembering that vertex form is f of x equals a x minus h squared plus k. This is especially important because this is the exact same form that all of our transformations are in, where a does one kind of transformation, h does another, k does another. So we have to be able to identify that one, but as long as you know standard and factored, you'll at least be able to do this one. Okay, so here we go. The first one, that looks pretty standard, so we say that that's standard form. You can kind of mark it with an S. The second one definitely is not factored form, and it's definitely not standard form. It definitely looks like the vertex form. There doesn't always have to be an A term out in the front here for it to be in vertex form. So we'll put a V. The third one's tricky. We'll skip that for now. We'll go to the next one. Well, that one's very clearly in factored form, so we know we can put that as an F for factored. Okay, so let's go back to this one that we skipped. This one is a little bit different because we've got the 3x squared and we've got minus 10. So it looks almost like standard form but without the bx, but it definitely does not look like factored form, and it definitely doesn't look like vertex form. This one, the correct answer is actually standard form, because it would be pretty unstandard if we had this and we wrote 3x squared plus 0x minus 10. Well, why would we say 0x when 0x's means nothing, no matter what x is? Why would you write that down? You can just skip it and just say 3x squared minus 10. So technically that is still standard form. Alright, and then the last one is also a little bit of a challenge because, I'm going to erase this, because it doesn't really look a lot like any of these forms. Now technically this one could go either way between factored form and vertex form, because in factored form you have the parentheses, and technically x minus 6 squared is the same as x minus 6, x minus 6. But really that's not how it's written, so it's kind of a stretch to say it's factored form. However, vertex form fits pretty well, because if we had plus 0 at the end, you don't typically write plus 0 because adding 0 to something doesn't change it. So we would just write the 10 x minus 6 quantity squared. So this one, the most accurate answer would be vertex form. So there you go.